Guess what these are for?
It's for Marcille. It's for her.
At long last, here is the tutorial on how I made Marcelle's staff Ambrosia, and look at that, it lights up, because you know I had to, as well as her book.
It's also cat approved, so that's nice.
To start off this adventure, go ahead and stop by your local Joann's to get one of these, or you can go online. This is what we will be basing the entire thing off of, and it is a lifesaver. So start by using a large X-Acto knife to carve out where your PVC pipe is going to go and make sure that it fits as snug as possible. You want to know where I got it? Once you have that, it was only like $5 or $6. I used E6000 glue and hot glue in the hole to help jam the rod into place, and then I went ahead and secured it with tape while it was drying just to make sure. And then I put even more glue on top of that just to make sure that it would stay put. Then it's time for first layer of paint. I got it from...
Oh, this is so much more red than I thought.
Despite the color throwing me off at first, I decided to roll with it and see what it would look like once it was dry, and I actually didn't end up hating it, so it all worked out in the end.
That's what we're rocking with.
While that's drying outside, I'm gonna get started on making her book. I'm so lucky that I found this red fabric in the remnants rack of Joann's for super duper cheap, because I'm going to use this and trusty dusty cardboard from an Amazon box.
Next bit you can play around with a lot. I used cardboard and then I just marked out a few lines. They weren't all exact, and I cut out a bunch of rectangles, and then I glued them together so they were nice and sturdy versus just being one layer of cardboard. I built a lot of things with cardboard over the years, so I'm kind of used to freestyling it, so you're welcome to go off of what I'm doing here, or if you want to try and make a pattern with some paper, I encourage that as well. But I roughly made a book-like shape, and then I made some almost like hinges out of cardboard just to keep the two together on one side. And oh my gosh, it's starting to look like a book. That's crazy. And then I went ahead and covered it in the fabric. Don't be like me. You should really iron out your fabric. Mine was wrinkly as and that definitely made the finished product not look as nice, but I was kind of on a rush and did not have the mental energy to get out the ironing board just for this little piece of fabric, so I encourage you to iron your fabric. You should. Then I mixed up some paint to make a kind of worn out page looking like cream colored to put on the outside, and then I put some paper and basically just drew some random scribbles that I thought looked cool, which just ended up being me drawing out a bunch of flowers, the alphabet, and the lyrics to All Star over and over again, but hey, it filled the space. I made the raised details on her book with hot glue as well. I considered using foam, but I'm not that skilled at cutting out really intricate pieces yet. But if I were to do a remake of this, I would probably use EVA foam. And then came the most tedious part, wrapping this entire thing with fake wire branches. I got these off Amazon. I actually already had them because I like to make flower crowns. But this is the real trust the process part, because I was stressing out so much that this wasn't gonna look good, but you have to just keep adding more and more, and eventually it kind of works. I painted over the rest of the lines on the book, and I also spray painted over everything on the staff, and then I hand painted in some extra little lines and bumps. To explain how I got it to light up is I purchased this battery pack off of Amazon. I've used these ones before and it lasts a very long time. And I carved out a place at the base where the circle meets the staff, and I glued it in there with all of my might, painted over it, and added some more lines, and then wrapped around the wire on the entire thing, which took a little bit of some time to space out the lights how I wanted. And then all that there was left was to put on a clear coat and glue a leaf on top, and it was done! I debuted this cosplay at Rose City Comic Con 2024, and it was so much fun. There were so many nice people, and I'll have a full vlog coming about that soon. Also, if you're wondering why I didn't put anything behind the book, It was for this. It was so I could sneak snacks in, and it was actually a big hit and came in handy so many times. I think that's very in character. Well, thank you so much for watching, and let me know in the comments if you enjoyed this video or if you're planning to cosplay Marcille yourself. Thank you so much for tuning in to my very first cosplay tutorial, and cosplayers, keep on crafting!